Looks like a kill. Tease me, baby, please, now. I'm going still. Throws don't catch you. Throws don't bleed. Down low and dirty. She's been turned to golden beast. Eyes in the night. Looking down at me. On my back with dominoes. It's got me on my knees. She knows what love can be.
Hi guys to everyone, I'm Ada from Poison Rock, and today I have the honor to have with me Wings of Steel, Leo and Parker. How are you guys?
Doing good.
That's great. Of course, I want to start about asking how Wings of Steel started, how everything started.
So I guess it started back in 2019. I moved out from Sweden to Los Angeles to study music, and that's where I met Parker. And we started talking about some bands we had in common, and we got writing on some music, and the rest is history.
So that's how it started. And you basically released your first EP, Wings of Steel, around 2019, 2020, something like that.
We put it out in March 2022, actually, so
Okay.
a little over a year ago.
So how was the recording back then? Because releasing in 2022, basically you worked during the pandemic, let's say, leave that word outside.
Yeah, I mean the EP is actually pretty much throughout the whole pandemic thing. Me and him were
Okay.
just out here and we were just writing all the songs. So we wrote probably like 15 or 20 songs or something like that, and then the EP was just the 5. We just said, okay, we'll put these out and save the other ones for later.
Pick the ones we thought were best.
Yeah.
And,
So,
and the other, you just threw it away or use it for the EP?
I mean, it's on the shelf. Whether we use it or not is, we don't have to, but
It's in the Wings of Steel vault.
yes.
Yeah, it's always in your locker. And the team, the concept about the first EP, what it's about.
The first one's about. I mean, the thing about the first one is, since we had so much to pick and choose from, it's a little like all over the place.
Okay.
So there's like a straight up like concept throughout that album. I mean, we've been writing for a long time, and we just wanted to like put out our debut so we could play live as well.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not like one concept going through it.
So
No, it's just.
yeah.
I think like the goal of it was just like showcase our sound and kind of put our sound in some different atmospheres, I guess.
Yeah, because it's not clearly like because from your song and your as well video clip. I mean, yeah, of course you can, recognize some vibes, but there is not like you can say that it's from the 80s, from the 70s, or from the 90s. That's not a specific sound. It's a kind of mixture. And I think it came as well from your own influences.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
of
I
you.
mean, that's kind of how it goes. We have so much in the bag, and it's like which song do you want to roll? Which kind of style do you want to write? And then whatever comes out just kind of comes out. It's kind of funny that way.
Yeah, and by now, you just went really good. You're going really good because there is a good, request from the people. Like I was seeing, like on, that's how I found out you. Like, and I remember that when I listened the last video clip, that was like a blast. For me, it was like looking back in the 80s. That video clip, it's well done, like perfectly recorded. So before going to speak about the last album, which is released basically not so, which was the date of release of the last album, Gates of Twilight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. Right?
So it's
Yeah.
basically now. So before going to dig
Yeah,
about
pretty much yesterday.
you released the Wings of Steel and Leather and Race. The video clip is pretty cool. So I want to ask about the last video clip because that's what that captivated me most.
Mm-hmm.
So what about that video clip? As well, the shooting, the song, all about that.
So that the Leather and Lace video was actually so it came out May 19th, the same day that the rest of the album came out, and we shot that thing the weekend before on the 13th.
Okay.
So we it was pretty straightforward thing. We didn't have a big budget. We didn't do a big storyline or anything like that. We kind of just we found a space in downtown, and then we just loaded up all of our stuff. We got our videographer out there, and did a couple takes, and then we pieced it together in 5 days.
In 5 days you recorded that?
Yeah, well, we recorded it in 1 day, and then over the other 5 days, because you have all the editing.
So
but
fast.
it was a very, very fast. We were kind of blown away how fast we were able to do it, and then also on that day that we shot that video, we shot a second music video.
Okay, that is
Yet
not
to be
released.
Yet to be released.
Yes, it's another
Well, you're-
undisclosed song from the Gates of Twilight album.
So you're going really fast, basically. There's because I think there is a kind of not only hype about you right now, because you're playing live a lot as well, as for what I can see in the Sunset Studio.
Well,
Well,
we've actually only played like 2 live shows, and one was quite recent. But yeah, I mean, things have been going great. I think when you just put out an album, you put out the video, you do a show as like a release show. You have a lot of things going for you, and it gets people talking. If the music's good, that is.
But as well, it's not easy, about a new band like that. Just putting out a single or a record and just immediately go play for example, correct me if I'm wrong, playing in a historical venue. What you did. So it's something that is not in your curriculum vitae, it's in your CV, in your resume, stick with you. So you basically started already with a big bang, we can say, something like that. So speaking about the album, because of course, like I was saying, you had this beautiful live at Whiskey Go Go. Before going to speak about the album, how was it? Because come on, Whiskey Go Go, it's like I told, it's like that Whiskey Go, it's a go go. That's the history.
It's a very historical venue.
Yeah.
For sure. Mm.
So how was that live?
I mean, it's cool to play it. I think the thing too is that we live here, so it's much more down to earth for us.
Okay.
Because there's the big phenomenon when you never go there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the whiskey, but we're here. It's like, oh yeah, we went to the whiskey.
It's like in the small venue.
Yeah,
under
so
your-
it's a little more casual about it, I guess.
I mean, I
How
still
you
remember
were-
because when I first moved out to LA, because I tell people all the time, I grew up on the VHS tapes of people playing the Sunset Strip and playing the Whiskey Go Go. So the first time I went over here and I went there, I was blown away because there it is.
Yeah.
So it was cool that we were able to have our first show ever there.
Yeah, I mean it's great too because, I mean, like you said, we've only played 2 shows. Our first show was at the Whiskey, and then our second show that we just did was at the Viper Room, another historical venue here. But yeah, so it's just so great because we write these songs with playing them live in mind, and just to be able to go and do that. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Like in Ring of Steel, there are this sound which is really tough and strong. That I think came from the guitar and the voice as well, and it's something that it's really, you can recognize it. I mean, I'm seeing right now, around there's a lot of band coming out with heavy metal, all these let's say old vibes. Can be old thrash, old heavy metal, not so much hard rock, too much. Not too much, but something that I recognize a lot about you is the sound of the voice, and as well. I mean, I can say even if you remind me someone or not. Because I can say, yes, there is a little bit of Whitesnake, a little bit of Steel Art, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. There's not someone. So I think you're creating something new, but that with the vibe of that period.
Mm-hmm.
And especially congratulations for your vocals and your skills as a guitarist. Because that's really, and I've been told that from people that are in the expertise in the music field. So congratulations for your skills. But speaking about Gates of Twilight, how went all the process of writing the lyrics? How was, for example, a typical day? How to arrange the album, the recording?
So yeah, it's kind of a funny story because since I'm pretty much out here on a tourist visa and then I go back to Sweden, so we're limited on time every time I come out here. And so last time I was out here, we decided we were gonna write the album. So we set a goal that we were gonna write 10 songs, and I had 10 weeks in the country. And so we did that pretty much. We averaged 1 week per song, which is, you know, that's a lot of music written and recorded in a very short time.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, you know. We pretty much, you know, we'd sit down here, we'd open up Logic Pro, and we started laying down a riff. We have all these voice recordings on our phones and stuff that we get throughout the year, because, you know, musicians, you sit down, you get all those. And we started laying something down, come up with sections, where do we want to take this, and then basically when we've roadmapped everything and we've recorded a scratch from the guitars and everything, I'd take it down to our studio. I'd write the vocals there, the lyrics and stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much the general way we do it.
Yeah.
And as well, for the meaning behind Gates of Twilight is always taking you know, like influences for the daily life, your personal influences, like, or there's a meaning or a message behind the album.
Yeah, so unlike the EP, I guess there is more of a larger thing to this album, and I think a lot of it is inspired by everything around music, you know, just being out and, you know, everyday life. But it is, you know, kind of this thing between the balance between good and evil and dark and light and all that, and how we need both in order to have anything, you know.
Exactly.
That's kind of where it's written from, and everyone can relate to that in their own way, and that's why it's such a great topic to write about. And it's a good way to do storytelling, and you can pull a lot of different funny stuff from it.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of add to that point, I mean, it's all like, it's not necessarily like a concept album the way that like Wasp, Crimson Idol, or like Dio Magica is it's like a literal story that's written out with the album. This is just more of like an overlying theme that all the songs kind of tend to explore, and you're not necessarily like, if you're just listening to what's on the surface, and like you might not pick up on that, but if you're going through and you're reading the lyrics, and you're kind of like, you'll start to sense like, oh, this is kind of all touching on the same kind of thing. But yeah, everything from, you know, the lyrics to the music, every instrument in the band, like it all kind of plays off of each other, and it all works really well. And I think that's a really really cool aspect of it.
And for the mastering of the album, you went by yourself, or you worked with a label or something?
So we have the guy who does our mix and masters, this guy named Damien Renaud, and he does he works with bands like Dragon Force and Fear Factory and Angra. But yeah, it's really great dude. I mean, we just recorded all the stuff at home on our own, and then we basically we gave him a rough mix, and we sent him our stuff, and then, you know, he'll mix them. We'll tell him, you know, turn this up, turn this down, move this, and then pretty soon, you know, we have
You basically knew what you wanted already.
Yeah. That's the great thing about working with him, because the other bands that he works with, you know, great bands, their albums that he's done, they sound very different in terms of the mixing.
Different styles.
We're able to explain things in a way that he understands it, and we go back and forth, and ultimately we get the sound that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And of course, in Wings of Steel, you are, I mean, because of course there are, I suppose, other guys playing with you. It's like the current lineup, or it's just a guy that you just, you know, took with you in the live?
So our current lineup currently it consists of, well, me and Parker, of course, we write and do most of the stuff, and then we have Mike Mayhem on drums.
Okay.
We have Mr. Stefan John Bailey on the rhythm guitar, and we have Johnny Shankle on the bass. And so those guys, they play with us live, and, you know, do the music videos and stuff like that, and yeah.
But I mean, yeah, in terms of like the writing and managing and doing all that stuff, I mean, that's pretty much just me and Leo.
Yeah, that's
just kind of the nature of the dynamic, I guess.
And of course, I mean, thinking about the name of the band, the Wings of Steel, could remind, you know, like, because if I saw, it seems like a little bit, I don't want to say like a paradox, but if I see a video, for example, like Leather and Lace, reminds me a lot of, not a lot, it reminds me some hard rock, you know, iron metal. But if I think about the name, reminds me to heavy metal. So, what about the name? You choose that because it reminds you of heavy metal, or because there's something else behind it?
Well, I'll tell you, trying to find the name of this band was like one of the greatest endeavors that me and Leo ever went on.
It was an undertaking, yeah.
I mean, we did the whole thing where you think of all these words and you do all this, we spent like a year just trying to find the name. So eventually we just said, fuck it,
The first name.
And so then, after a while we wrote the song Wings of Steel. And then we went for a walk, we're doing something, we're like, Wings of Steel is a pretty cool band name. And I'm like,
yeah.
But that shit's gotta be taken.
Yeah, it's gotta be taken, there's no way that, and we're thinking it's like, okay, fuck it, that's the band.
It wasn't taken. Basically, you choose it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because of course but as well that can just because if we want really to describe the sound of Wings of Steel with one word, which one of you would pick it up? Not together, just Leo and Parker. Or just
I think the whole thing.
Yeah.
It kind of ties into the concept or whatever you want to call it of the album, how it goes between all these different things. It goes dark, it goes bright, all that stuff. I guess I would call it kind of like epic because it does go through all those journeys. It goes through a lot of journeys. You could call it a journey, you could call it epic. It's something along those lines is probably what I would say.
Okay. And now we are gonna go a little bit in influences. Here you have to answer separately. So I don't know who wants to start first. Talk about choose one of you, so the first one is gonna be more, I think, a little bit issues. Just pick 5 albums of bands. So it's not bands, 5 albums. Okay, it's an easy question. It's not hard. That formed you not as guitarist but as person.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neo is lucky. He's lucky. He has no time.
That's hard.
Let's see. I mean, here's the thing: is that if I name 5 albums, there's gonna be like 100 more that I leave out. So this isn't the whole picture, but
let's say like that. The one that came in your mind now. Let's say for the
yes.
Okay.
So I mean, I think about like when I was like a younger kid and like when I first discovered music. Journey Frontiers was like a huge album that I discovered when I was really young. Let's see. Metallica Ride the Lightning was like a big album when I was younger too. This isn't quite I guess this is an album. The Led Zeppelin, The Song Remains the Same, that live album, that was a big one.
An album as well. It's a live. So.
Yeah, and then let me try to move it forward a little bit. I mean, this is one that Leo will tell you too, but the Blue Murder's first self-titled album is awesome.
That's cool. I like Blue Murder.
Yeah.
Good choice. Cycle. Good choice.
And then let's see another. I'm gonna take it, man. You can take the other one. I'm gonna take Dio, Lock Up the Wolves, man. That is an excellent.
Leo's in trouble now. Leo's in trouble now.
I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. No, no, that's great.
The other 5 or like 3, since he said 2.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think a big one growing up, especially during my teen years, was 1987 by Whitesnake. Because there you have John Sykes too, which brings me to Blue Murder, which fucking excellent band.
Yeah.
Sad Wings of Destiny, Judas Priest is a great one.
Yeah.
Rising by Rainbow is another terrific
live
album.
1977 too.
Yeah.
That's great.
What else, man? There's so much good stuff by like Michael Schenker and.
Oh yeah.
Too many to name, but I think.
I gotta say, Heaven and Hell or the Mob Rules.
Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, both
one of those
albums. Some good stuff like Black Rose by Thin Lizzy is always an album that I went with really hard.
With Sykes on it.
It's
Gary Moore.
Gary Moore, Scott
Close.
Gorham, I think. Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. They're both excellent guitar players.
always.
Then it's funny because there's this album called On the Blue Side by Mr. Dave Meniketti from Y&T. Mm-hmm. It's like his solo album. It's just like blue stuff. I love that shit. But yeah.
Yeah, and so just you're right. And of course now it's a little bit always tricky, but if you do it together, if you want. Just let's try to put a festival. So you are the organizer of the festival, okay? So you have to pick up the name of the festival, the place could be, let's pretend it's imaginary places, whatever you want to pick, and the band. It can be 1 day festival, 1 day, 2 days, it's up to you. So you can think about that together, so it's easier.
I say I think I got the name for it. We'll call it the We Rise Festival.
Okay,
Okay.
that's cool.
And I would like to have it in like Africa or some stuff. That'd be cool.
I'll have it in some like crazy,
Yeah, like
Namibia,
Namibia.
like in
Yeah.
the sand dunes and shit. That would be
That'd be
sick.
sick.
That would be sick.
Logistically, it may not work out.
No.
But hey, we can do whatever we want,
But
right?
This is
You are an organizer. You have a lot of amount of money to spend, so you are.
Yes,
Switch.
yes. So who we put? Who's the headliner?
Who was put there, man?
We can get John Sykes to do Blue Murder
If
again.
we could finally get him to do something, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
John
We can
Sykes.
resurrect Phil Lynott and do Thin Lizzy too. Resurrect Steve Lee and do Gothard.
What are-
Resurrect Dio.
Or like big bands that still kick ass.
I know. We have to keep it with people who are alive. Too.
You know?
No, or even not. Even gone.
Oh, you can go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, anywhere. Can be-
And then Dio's gonna headline.
Let's go
sure.
back to some Diamond Head, man.
Oh, Diamond Head would be sick
Yeah.
too.
Diamond Head would be great. What else?
Saxon's always cool, man.
Saxon's cool.
Great festival band.
Do like the early like Great White.
Early Grey White, yeah.
Great.
Good band as well.
Throw some Testament in there and get some variety.
Testament would be good. Yeah,
Trash to change.
a little bit.
Little bit
Yeah.
of extreme, little bit more.
Mhm.
A little heaviness in there.
Some
Yeah.
Bay Area trash, let's say.
Yeah, get back to Black Sabbath.
Which Black Sabbath though?
Which
man? Dude,
you can do anything. Let's do all of them.
Let's do all the Black Sabbaths.
Every version of
Ozzy
Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Bring Ozzy, Dio. Let's bring
Dio.
fucking-
Everyone that I mean, even the version with like Ozzy Osbourne with Rudy Sarso and what's the other? And Randy Rhoads. I could put it even the other version, so everyone will fight on the stage. Rudy Sarso with Sykes, everyone will fight on the stage. It'll be a wrestling, not a festival.
It would be one hell of a festival.
That would be. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a great question. That's awesome. That's such a cool thing to like.
We could
try
spend
to-
just the entire day without one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I know there is a lot of bands from that period, if you think about it, that they didn't make it through because, of course, grunge hit, like we all knew, that just ended in the 90s.
Mhm.
There were a lot of bands in the 90s. I don't know if you're aware of, I don't know, Every Mother's Nightmare, Roxy Blue, Roxy Gang, a lot of Roxys out there. And the Queen Lorraine Lewis, Vixen, Femme Fatale, that lot of great band, of course.
Yeah.
Snake always there and still are too. So that's they are like we can forget about that. So that's what I like about you as well. That you have this because of course there are a lot of heavy metal bands right now. A lot. That's good. That some classical metal we need, but you have that plus of being like say, hey, don't forget about that period of the Sunset Strip as well. That was cool, like it reminds, when I saw your video clip, it reminded me that. And I mean, really, what, especially you coming from Sweden, what did you see differently, like, and especially in the music scene? Because of course in Europe we know there is a lot of difference in, even in a country, a small country, like Italy or Sweden, which is bigger. You have a kind of different, huge genre of music. What did you see as different in United States or like?
So I mean, there are some like differences. I think again, there's a lot of history in LA, music history. I think that's like the biggest thing. When I moved out, I expected it to be like, still being an 80s party Sunset Strip with tons of spandex and hairspray and all that good stuff. But the reality was a little bit different. It's still there, just not to that kind of extent. I think there are some good places to play out here. I do like the culture a lot in Europe when it comes to playing. The fans and stuff like that, and the fans are great out here too, but they're scattered across such a big area. It's hard to get to everyone, and that's why we're so lucky that we're doing Germany next year.
I saw that. Congratulations, that's cool. And especially I think for you, Parker, being in Europe and straight away in Germany.
Well, I'm not to take away, but I just went and I visited over. I went to Sweden and then Germany for a little bit last year, and I was just like, oh my god, we need to come play here, man. This is like the epitaph, man. Just
I mean, that's fun because coming from Europe or United States, Canada, you can both help each other. Like we go sometimes in Europe, we come back United States, so you can basically cover most of the country. But then you have to go as well in Australia, in Asia, and like a lot of bands from the 80s, they were loved from Japan. A lot. It is, you know, like I don't know if you know the band Cat in Boots, or even Mr. Big. They were like hugely loved by Japan. So that's one must gigs there to play. But as a really like as a live, if you have if you will have like, I will give you the contact of this musician. His name is Keith St. John. He's the currently singer of Kingdom Come. And he plays as well he's Red in the Rock Vault. He was doing before in LA, and now they moved in Las Vegas. Basically, all the main musicians like Doug Aldrich, Joel Oxtra, they play in there. And he's a really close friend of mine, and it's an amazing person. I think he can have some contact because it's all around there. You can meet it up with him, take some drink. Maybe he can help you to be even in Ready in the Rock Vault. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, you know, it's great if you can get in with someone that's more
Yeah, you know,
established in the
Keith
scene.
and John, it's really nice person. Really nice person.
Cool, yeah. Yeah, because, you know, especially here in the US too, like if it's going to make sense for us logistically to get around, we kind of have to get on with an established act already and kind of go along with their touring thing. So it's always great to be able to connect within the scene.
Yeah, especially some people that really can tell you all about what happened in the 80s, like really in the Sunset Strip, and because only from these people you can hear, you know, the true stories.
Right.
Yeah, that's when they tell me the story. Oh, this person is really nice man, an amazing singer as well, and he's actually played. I don't remember the name of the band, but he's a band with Blas Elias from the Slaughter and Doug Aldrich. So that's a cool band he has with one. And now with Todd Kearns too. Now, if you know Todd Kearns, if you have heard Todd Kearns, he does live. So he has a lot of contacts. So he's always available. So you just even, you know, for a beer, just meet it up. That's my disagreement because you guys deserve it. I mean, there are people that you want to help or just see being outside. They maybe don't give a fuck about the help because they just want to appear, you know, just play in their basement in some small venue there, and that's it. If you're willing to put yourself out there, you have to do it 100%. So if you're up to that, for me, it's not a problem just giving your coins content. But apart from that, I wanted to know, of course, Leo, you're a singer, Parker, you're a guitarist. Which were your own main, I can say, influences in this field? So always answer separately, of course.
Okay, so I'll start. And actually, this kind of applies with bands too, but I think this point makes a lot of sense with individual musicians. I think there's a distinction to be made between an influence and an inspiration.
Okay.
So to kind of give you an example, like like one of the first bands I discovered when I was a kid was like Led Zeppelin, and so like I was very inspired by Jimmy Page in the sense of like how, you know, his stage presence and his approach to playing and all that. But if you listen to my playing, I don't take a lot of. I mean, there's a little bit, but I don't take a lot of like stuff directly from his playing. So I think in his instance, he's more so of like an influence, he's more so like an inspiration than an influence. But then I guess for if we're talking about like influences that have a lot of direct carryover into my style, I'd say John Sykes has a lot, you know, as we've talked. John Norum from Europe is really great. Neil Schon, Journey, really great. George Lynch. Who else? I like a little Richie Blackmore too. He's cool. He's maybe a little more on the inspirational side, but yeah, he's good. Willie John Roth, Michael Schenker. He's a big one. Yeah, I think that's 5.
There should be 5. It could be just one. I mean, it's fine. You choose 5.
Yeah, there's a lot.
5 singers, so it's a little bit harder for you, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a lot over the years because, you know, it changes too along with your taste in music and stuff. But what's up?
No, that was a good point.
Oh, cool, yeah.
It totally evolves. When I was younger, you think like, oh, the guy from this band is really cool, and then you get older and you go, oh, the guy from this band is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I think you know, I really dig like Bruce Dickinson in terms of like stage presence. Obviously, the man's got a powerful voice, but I really love his stage presence. The fact that he's able to be all acrobatic and shit and run around like a powerhouse and does not run out of stamina or anything. And then I think Dio is Ronnie James Dio is one of my greatest like inspirations for sure, and partially because I think he is an amazing vocalist, great control and
Voice, yeah.
he's not even bothered. He's just there delivering the message. That's it. But also because he's such a great storyteller, and that's kind of where I think I get that from. Where it's like I like to touch on broader like subjects and perspectives when I write lyrics, instead of just writing about this one particular thing. Because he did that a lot, and he created this whole like magical kind of world, and you kind of just get the message from it.
He was a rock star, even without just saying. He never claimed to be a rock star, but he was. That's how rock stars are supposed to be born, like without even noticing. Like Randy Rhoads was the same.
Yeah, he is the godfather of heavy fucking metal.
Yeah, that's true. Completely, yeah.
And growing up, I was raised in a household with a lot of blues and stuff. So listened to a lot of the earlier blues, and then when I grew up a little bit, I mentioned I got into like the bluesier aspect of the hair bands, like Great White and Whitesnake and stuff. So I listened to a lot of David Coverdale, and especially his earlier days with Deep Purple, and then when he did his solo career, because he influenced a lot of interesting little sparks there, like gospel and soul and stuff like that, and just tremendous vocal capabilities.
Yeah, still today is a little bit harder, of course, after all these years of singing, but he kept it until now. Like some year ago, he was still amazing. And
he had a very long career,
Yeah, of course now it's a little bit they done their time, I think. Done their time. And speaking about the current project, so the album is out. So what fans and we can expect from Wings of Steel?
So in the immediate upcoming future, we have anybody who's in LA. We're playing our last show for 2023 will be on July 5th at the Whiskey. So we have that coming out, and then also around that time, late June, early July, we have our second music video from the album coming out. So that'll be cool. Later this year, we hope to get our stuff out on a vinyl.
It's cool. That's
so hopefully late 2023, early 2024, we should finally have that available.
Yeah, it's about damn time.
And then and then 2024, we're playing Keep It True in Germany. And then we're looking to try to get a tour booked around that performance at the festival.
It will be as well available to do some small touring all around that area, only Germany.
It might be Germany, Switzerland, like close by.
I mean, we're gonna do what we can. I mean, the thing is if we could get to every single country in Europe, we would, because we're getting all these, all this great response from all of our fans. We're like, man, we got to get out there and
because I saw people from Italy as well claim you that you have a fan in Italy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Italy would be great.
But it's it's a thing too. It's like we're still an independent band. We're doing everything ourselves. Like we can only and we only have so much money. So but we intend to do as much as we can with that. But stay tuned, because if we get all that sorted out, we'll make sure to let everybody know.
And regarding the current full length, where the people can find it?
So it's available directly through us. If you go to our Bandcamp, you can find our first release, which was the EP last year, Wings of Steel, and then of course our new release, the album Gates of Twilight. You can also find some merch there. This guy right here, I came dressed for the occasion. You can't find this one.
No, this is not.
You have to go somewhere else for that one. It's a great shirt.
Other bands' website.
But yeah, you can also find package deals where you can get both CDs for one shipping charge, and the same with the new T-shirt and the new album together. We also have a Redbubble setup where you can buy interesting merch like clocks and duffel bags and all these cool ass things that they make. And what else? There is something else.
I mean, that's our physical stuff. I will also note for our European fans on physical copies. We work with the following distributors that may help you. We only sell them limited stocks, but from us, when you buy directly from us, we'll ship it all over the world, but it costs a lot of money in shipping, and there's all the import fees and everything.
Yeah.
So if you're in Europe, we have Witch's Brew, we have Underground Power Records, and we have Steel Fortress. So those three outlets, they carry both of our album and our EP on hand. So you can get it from them. You'll have a significantly less shipping costs. It's just much more affordable.
Yeah. We're also looking to set up manufacturing and distribution in Europe, so that it will just be taken care of.
But that's
Otherwise, you will be packed with that in Germany for the festival.
Yeah.
So that any fan can come there and purchase them in person. So that's gonna be easier as well.
Right.
And then I guess just if you're interested in the digital, everything, it's all, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, every
info will put it
streaming platform.
in the interview down in the box, whatever it's called. Everything's gonna be available there. Okay, so
Cool.
what I can say, guys, thank you so much for the time. It was fun, and I'm really glad to know there is someone that's still listening and doing good music. I'm not the only one to listen to that music, and knows John Sykes especially.
Right.
I love it, with Blue Murder and Jelly Roll as well. And hope to see you in Europe, and I will contact you about Kids and John, so to arrange that meeting. I wish you all the best, and good luck with everything, guys. Thanks for
Great meeting you, and thanks for having us.
Yeah,
it was a
thank you.
pleasure. Have a good day, both of you.
All right,
Bye.
you too.